So, of course, we just got the big news on Joker 2 with Joaquin Phoenix returning. It's going to be called Folie à Deux. Probably pronounced that wrong, even though I took French class, but whatever. Joker 2 is happening, and we're supposedly getting a brand new Harley Quinn played by Lady Gaga. Now, this has been a mixed reaction from a lot of people. Everybody that likes the idea is like, yeah, Lady Gaga as Harley Quinn, that's awesome. And then everybody else isn't necessarily, at least from what I've seen, against specifically Lady Gaga as Harley Quinn, but more so the fact that we're just getting another Harley Quinn, because people are saying, oh, like, but Margot Robbie is Harley Quinn. But then, of course, you have to think about it in the way of, like, you know, there's Jared Leto's Joker and Joaquin Phoenix's Joker, and now also Barry Keoghan's Joker. So, you know, we got a bunch of Jokers. Why not have a bunch of Harley Quinns? Because, you know, we already got Margot Robbie's Harley Quinn as kind of our main Harley Quinn in the DCU. We also have Kaylee Cuoco as Harley Quinn in the Harley Quinn animated series, which if you have not watched the Harley Quinn animated series, you need to watch it. It's so good. But anyway, that's two Harley Quinns already that we actually have. And now supposedly we have a third one on the way with Lady Gaga in Joker 2. But if you thought that was it, then you're very wrong, because looks like we're getting a fourth Harley Quinn on the way as well, because with all these conversations of Harley Quinn coming into Joker 2, there may also be a new Harley Quinn coming to the Robert Pattinson, the Batman universe, under the direction of Matt Reeves. Because yesterday, Grace Randolph, fellow YouTuber and sometimes scooper, put out a video on YouTube hours before this official news of Lady Gaga as Harley Quinn broke. So she was already reporting on this hours before it was official, so that already gives some validity to this. But she was not only talking about Lady Gaga coming in as Harley Quinn for Joker 2, but also Harley Quinn coming into the Reeves-verse. And if you go watch her video, you'll see that she doesn't have any specifics of, like, you know, who's going to play her, or what project it's going to be in, or anything like that, but just the fact that Matt Reeves is also doing a version of Harley Quinn on HBO Max. And kind of the assumption that she goes with, that I fully support and I think is kind of what's going to be happening here as well, is that it would be for the Arkham series on HBO Max. Because with the Batman, we're getting all these spin-offs on HBO Max. Of course, we got the Penguin HBO Max series. We're getting, well, the Arkham series that was formerly the GCPD or Gotham Central series, and that has, of course, quote, evolved into the Arkham series. And who knows what else we're getting, maybe a Catwoman series, you never know. But anyway, the Batman universe, it's expanding, we're getting a sequel, we're getting all these spin-offs on HBO Max. It's crazy, we're getting a whole separate universe of the Batman run by Matt Reeves. And I fully trust him, I love the Batman, and I'm super excited to see what he does with all of these characters in this universe, all of these Batman characters, seeing these new takes on these characters. And Harley Quinn is one that I never really thought about in this universe, but the more I think about it with this new information, it makes sense to have her in this Arkham HBO Max series, which is already rumored that Barry Keoghan's Joker, who was introduced in the Batman, and also that amazing deleted scene, it's already been rumored for a long time now that he's going to be kind of one of the central focal points of that Arkham series, which makes sense. You know, he's in Arkham Asylum. We're going to be focusing on Arkham Asylum patients. Why not be focusing on the Joker when you literally have him in Arkham Asylum? Because that's a great way to develop Barry Keoghan's Joker without having to make him, you know, stereotypical, main villain of the next movie, like they did with Heath Ledger's Joker, setting him up at the end of Batman Begins and then making him the main villain of The Dark Knight. So that works. That would be a great way to explore this character, get to know him, learn about this version of the Joker, especially since it is a series, so you have more time to do a deep dive on where he came from, where he's at in life, especially after seeing from that deleted scene that supposedly it was his anniversary with the Batman, so they've had their fights and their tussles in the past. So getting to know him now and bringing in Harley Quinn to do that would be very interesting, because of course she got her start as a therapist, psychiatrist, psychologist, something like that at Arkham Asylum. They keep changing in the comics. It's basically doctor at Arkham Asylum. And of course the whole story is that she was the Joker's therapist. He ended up kind of falling in love with her. and it ended up manipulating her after she fell in love with him. She ended up going insane just to do anything to prove herself to him and all that stuff, and ended up being a huge, crazy, abusive relationship. Now, this is something that we haven't seen done in live action because, we had Margot Robbie's Harley Quinn, but when she was introduced in Suicide Squad, they kind of, they spent, a little bit of flashbacks showing their romance, but for the most part, they kind of just skipped right into the whole breakup of, her going off on her own and doing all that stuff. And that's great and everything, but it takes away from that amazing mad love storyline from Batman the Animated Series. Because, of course, that's one of the things that makes Harley Quinn so unique, is that she's one of the few superhero comic book characters that actually made her debut outside of comics. She was originally created as a character for Batman the Animated Series, and because everybody loved her so much, then she ended up going on to be a character in DC Comics. So that's something that makes her really special, and so with what they've done with Margot Robbie's version of the character, just skipping over the roots of Harley Quinn, I feel like that's kind of weird and unnecessary for them to do that. So I like that we're going to be seeing, possibly, if this is true, which I believe it is, in the Arkham series, and to do that storyline justice, I think would be amazing. Get to see this version of Joker manipulate her, make her fall in love with him, see that abusive relationship, and, I don't even know if she's going to officially become Harley Quinn in this series, because it could totally be just, she's Dr. Harleen Quinzel. They can just be having their meetings and their talks and therapy sessions together, and throughout the series, we're learning more about the Joker as he's telling her about stuff. Maybe we'll see in the last episode of the season or series. We don't know if it's going to be mini-series or go on for multiple seasons. But anyway, maybe in the final episode of this season, we'll get to see maybe Dr. Harleen Quinzel help break the Joker out of Arkham Asylum. And then they go off to be together and be Joker and Harley Quinn. And maybe that'll set up for a future The Batman movie and have Robert Pattinson fight both of them. That could be pretty cool. I definitely enjoy seeing that. And that's something I could see this path kind of going towards and building towards. But of course, we have Margot Robbie, we have Kaylee Cuoco, we have possibly Lady Gaga. So who would play this version of Harley Quinn in the Batman Reeves verse? Well, of course it'd have to be a much younger version of the character, since we have a much younger version of the Joker. Barry Keoghan is only 29 years old, so you'd have to have somebody around that age. One of the top fan castings I've seen is Samara Weaving, and she's 30 years old, so she's just one year older than Barry Keoghan, or Barry Keoghan. I'm still not even sure how to pronounce his name. But I think she would work. She's got the look. I feel like she could play that kind of a crazy Harleen Quinzel characters. That would work pretty well. Another one I've seen a bit on the older side, at least compared to Barry Keoghan, is Emma Stone. I think she'd be great as well, especially after seeing her in Cruella, where she was basically kind of a version of Disney's Joker / Harley Quinn. She's 33, so she'd be 4 years older than Barry Keoghan. Not that bad. That could work. But usually the Joker is older than Harley Quinn, and that kind of adds to the whole disgustingness of this relationship with him being abusive to her, is that he's older than her and is really gross and yucky. So maybe do someone younger than Barry Keoghan, obviously not super young, but somebody like Anya Taylor-Joy, who is 26, so just 3 years younger, but she could work really well. There's some really great fan art out there of her as this character, and I think that she could do a really, really good job in this role. She's an amazing actress, and again, she's got the look, and I feel like she's got the right age to do that character, especially alongside Barry Keoghan's Joker. I feel like that would be something I'd really be interested in seeing. I think she's honestly my top choice for the role. Then again, there's a whole number of actresses who would also be great for this part, but I don't know. Like I said, I definitely wasn't expecting to see Harley Quinn in this Batman universe, at least not anytime soon. But it does make sense with where we're going in this Arkham Asylum HBO Max series, setting her up as the Joker's therapist, setting up that character of the Joker, bringing them together, doing the whole Mad Love storyline, and then having kind of the birth of Harley Quinn, and that could be really, really cool. And I do hope that this ends up being true. Of course, take this with a grain of salt for now. But Grace Randolph was reporting on this hours before the Lady Gaga Harley Quinn news was officially out there last night. So take this for what you will. I definitely hope it's true. I think this could be really cool. Then again, it does feel kind of like, Harley Quinn overexposure. You've got like 4 different Harley Quinns going on at once. But they've done it before with Batman and Joker and all that stuff. Honestly, I actually saw a joke earlier today about, the DC Trinity used to be Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman. Now it's Batman, Joker, and Harley Quinn. And honestly, yeah, it is. It actually kind of is. And that's both funny and actually kind of depressing at the same time. But anyways, guys, let me know your thoughts on this in the comments below. What do you think about Harley Quinn in the Batman universe? And who do you think should play this role? So guys, thanks so much for watching. Please drop a like if you enjoyed this video and hit the subscribe button so I can keep you up to date on everything that goes on in the DC life.